Good evening, Big Pauly. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to review the latest Tom Cruise film, Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. Please keep this review family friendly, no swearing and no ranting about sausage rolls. Should you swear, Ethan Hunt will find you and make you run like him. This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Hi everyone, Big Pauly back with a brand new movie review. Yes, just come back from watching the latest Mission Impossible film, The Final Reckoning. Yes, not Dead Reckoning Part 2 anymore, so that's buggered the shelves up, hasn't it? Although, you know, they'll re-release it as Dead Reckoning. Yes, so we've waited a little bit for this film. This is supposedly the final film. Whether or not it will go on in some incarnation or another Mission Impossible, who knows. But as for this film, I thought it was really good. I thought it was a really good film. I don't think it was as good as Fallout and Dead Reckoning Part 1. There was much more. I can't say there was bigger thrills in that, because there's a hell of a lot of thrills in this. For me, this film wrapped up the story for Dead Reckoning Part 1, but it also kind of wrapped up loose ends and stories from all of the other films. In fact, this film does kind of throw in a load of flashbacks to all the previous 7 films for those that maybe just wanted a quick recap before watching this film. So you don't necessarily have to go through the entire catalogue. You could just wait for the flashbacks as a refresher. All of the cast are back. We've got obviously Tom Cruise. We've got Ving Rhames. We also have Simon Pegg, Hayley Atwell. I'm probably going to forget a couple of people here. Annie is a continuation of Dead Reckoning Part 1. So if you've seen that film, you're familiar with that film, then you're going to want to know what happens at the end. And you're going to want to carry on that story. It's like 2 films, and you can just split them together into one massive film. Without getting into spoilers, it's AI, isn't it? It's the entity that's taken over, threatens mankind, and it's up to old Ethan Hunt and the team to try and defeat this rising threat. The film is packed with action set pieces, great dialogue, and I've got to say, the beginning of the film, for the first maybe half an hour, kind of was a little bit slow, because they were throwing in all these flashbacks, and it was mainly dialogue heavy for the first half an hour. But once it got going and it found its momentum, it was a thrill ride to hold on to your seats. And like I say, there are some fantastic set pieces in this. There's a massive submarine set piece. There is the airplanes, biplanes, as you've seen in the trailers. There's a lot of Tom Cruise running and hand-to-hand combat and thrills. And it's just everything that you'd expect to watch in a Mission Impossible film. Even though this is kind of tipped as the final film, being the Final Reckoning, and the threat is bigger in this film, I still think that Dead Reckoning Part 1 had more to offer so far as what this entity is and the build-up. And although the set pieces, you know, the action set pieces in this were brilliant, there's a lot in Dead Reckoning Part 1 that I really loved. The car chase in the little Fiat 500 or whatever that car was. And the train scene and the motorcycle scene. So very iconic action set pieces in Dead Reckoning Part 1, as well as Fallout. Fallout is my favourite of the Mission Impossible films. Where would I put this in, like, eight films? It would be behind, I think it would be behind Dead Reckoning Part 1 and Fallout. So maybe round about fifth place, around about fifth or sixth place, something like that. It's not to take anything away from the film, because it is 2 hours and 50 minutes of Tom Cruise doing what Tom Cruise does. And everybody that's familiar with, you know, the Mission Impossible story will want to take this ride on the biggest screen you possibly can, because you really want those action set pieces blinding you. And I will be watching it again. I will be checking it out again in a couple of days, this time in IMAX, because I saw a view on the big screen, the massive screen. There was a little introduction at the beginning of the film as well by Tom Cruise saying, you know, thank you for coming to watch this film. We've made it for the fans. So that was pretty cool. And I think everybody in the cinema had a really good time. Really good time. There was some laughing here and there. There was a woman that was sobbing her heart out about 4 rows back from me. And then at the end of the film, Dad just clapped his... like he does with films that he approves of. It doesn't happen that often, actually. So yeah, so Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, definitely gets 2 thumbs up from me. I'm probably going to put this at 8.5 out of 10. Like I say, it's not as good as Dead Reckoning Part 1 and not as good as Fallout. It just falls behind that. So I do prefer those other 2 films. But it is still a great entry in the Mission Impossible storyline. So there we go. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like it by giving it some thumbs up. Boop. Don't forget to subscribe, comment and share. See you on the next video very soon. Bye bye.